Hello friends, today we will discuss Newton's laws of motion. So, what has given Newton has given three laws to describe the motion of a bodies. These laws are known as Newton's laws of motion. Okay, so we will see one by one those laws. Newton's first law. What Newton's first law says is that some of bodies around us are at rest while some are in motion. We know in the first chapter we have studied rest and motion is always with respect to some other frame of reference. So, a body is at rest will always remain at rest, and a body in motion will continue in motion in a straight line only in a straight line with a uniform speed, unless it is compelled by an external force to change its state of rest or of uniform motion. Suppose when we are not applying any force, means if the net force on a body is zero and the body is in a rest, then it will not move unless and until we apply some unbalanced force on it. So how can we apply some unbalanced force? Let us see. This is a body of mass m and this is resting on the ground. If F net is 0, means suppose F1 is in this direction, F2 is in this direction, and this is weight of a body. Suppose this will be F3 and this is the normal reaction force on the body by ground, and let's suppose this is F4. So it means summation of all forces F net must be 0 if this body is in rest. So F1, if this is x direction and this is y direction, taking this as positive and this as positive, so F1 is positive plus F1 and F2 is in negative direction minus F2, and F3 is negative minus F3, and F4 is positive, so plus F4. This must be 0. Okay, it means F1, if it only happen when F1 equals to F2 and F3 equals to F4. So this is the criteria for net force 0 in this body to be at rest if it is in rest position. So if the body of mass m, suppose mass is 10 kg, then it is resting on ground, and if we apply some force F equals to 10 Newton, the unit of force is Newton. So another force is in this direction, which is also 10 Newton, and the weight is, we know, mg, which is 10 into, let's suppose g equals to 9.8, okay, meter per second square. So 9.8, it means 98 Newton, and the reaction on this body by ground will also be equal 98 Newton, let's suppose. Then this force and this body experience no net force. It means the negative y direction and positive y direction will cancel each other. In the similar way, the positive x direction and negative x direction will cancel each other. So the force is balanced. So the body will be at rest. Okay. Even though we are applying force from external, but these forces are balanced. So the body will not move. Now let us take some example to clear the first law of motion. So suppose a book is lying on a table and it is at rest. So the book will not move by itself, that is, it cannot change its position by itself from the rest. Okay, it can change its state of rest only when compelled by the force of our hand. Suppose if we lift the book will change its position. Thus the position of rest of the body has been changed by the external force of our hand, and the observation supports the first parts of the first law of motion. So the tendency of body to remain at rest or as stationary, if moving, to continue moving in a straight line, is called inertia. Suppose any object which tends to remain in the original state of motion, either motion or rest, this tendency of a body is called, this is the actually property, this property of the body is called inertia. So inertia is that property of a body due to which it resists a change in its state of rest or of uniform motion. Greater the inertia of a body, greater will be the force required to bring the change in its state of rest or of a uniform motion. So inertia depends on its mass. Greater the mass, greater will be the inertia. Greater the inertia of body, greater will be the force required to change the state of rest or uniform motion. In fact, mass is the measure of the inertia of a body. We have learned it. So if body has more mass, it has more inertia. That is, heavier object have more inertia than the lighter object. For example, a stone has a greater inertia than a football. If we kick a stone, it will not move because of its high inertia. But if we kick a football, it will move a long way. Okay. Suppose the car having larger mass than this car, toy car. This is toy car, this is real car. So we can displace this car, toy car, from its original position by applying force with our hand. But the original car cannot be displaced in an easy way because of its inertia. The inertia of real car is greater than the inertia of toy car. Okay. So from this we can conclude that inertia of a body depend on its mass. Now we can see here from this example that to overcome the inertia and make a body move from a rest, we must apply an external force, and that external force must be unbalanced force. Okay. So Newton's first law of motion is also sometimes called Galileo's laws of inertia. This is note, you should remember it. Okay, we can illustrate Newton's first law of motion or a property of inertia of a body with some experimental view. See, if we place a glass or tumbler and we place a card upon this and put a coin. Now apply some external force on card. The card will move due to the external force, but the coin will not move. It will just go down due to its weight into the glass tumbler. Okay, so the movement of this cardboard is due to the external force. So if we apply external force, this will place this side and the coin will fall into the glass. Why this happened? This happened because of the force we apply on the cardboard, but we have not applied any force on the coin. So coin want to remain in its original state of rest, but if we remove the card, there is some space, empty space, and due to the not due to its weight, it will fall down. Now let us see second part of the first law of motion, that is, a body will remains in motion unless a force compels it to change its state of uniform motion in a straight line. Okay, so it seems that it is impossible to remain a body in a motion forever. We know when we pedal a bicycle and the bicycle is moving, but after sometimes when we stop pedaling, the bicycle will stop after some distance. This is because it's, according to this second part of the first law of motion, it should not stop, it must continue its state of motion. But due to the some external force of friction on the ground, friction by the ground on our bicycle tire in opposite direction, and also there is some air drag friction. So because of air resistance and friction, our bicycle will come to rest after some distance. So these are the external force acting on our bicycle which opposes the state of motion. So these act as unbalanced force on our bicycle, which will result in hampering the motion of the bicycle, and finally the bicycle will come to the rest. So if there were no air resistance and no friction to oppose the motion of a bicycle, then according to the first law of motion, a moving bicycle would go on moving forever. It would not stop by itself. Now let's some other example based on the property of inertia. When a hanging carpet is beaten with a stick, the dust particles start coming out of it. Why this happen? Because the dust particle wants to remain in rest. and the to and fro motion of the carpet is slightly separating the dust from the carpet. So this is because the force of a stick makes the carpet move to and fro slightly, but the dust particles tends to remain at rest or stationary due to their inertia. So the dust particle will come down and hence separate the carpet from the dust. Another example is when a tree is shaken vigorously, its fruit and leaves fall down. Its fruit wants to remain in the state of rest, while the sudden movement of the branches will tends to make the fruit go down. If the branch broken, if branch is broken, then the fruit will go down. And this was example when Newton was sitting under the apple tree. The suddenly apples fall in front of him, and they think how this happened. Since then they started thinking and give all these laws, Newton's laws of motion. So we take some other example. When we sit in a car and car starts suddenly, the passenger falls backward. This is because our lower portion will become in motion suddenly because it is attached with the car, but upper body is free in the air, so it will be in rest. It wants to be in rest due to its inertia. So suddenly when the car starts, the passenger fall backward. When a running car or a bus stops suddenly, in the same way our upper body is in motion right now, but lower body is attached with the car or bus, and that comes to a rest suddenly. So due to that movement, due to that motion, our body go in a direction of motion and feel some jerk in forward direction. Okay, this happened because of inertia. The passenger tends to remain in their state of motion, which they possess in moving car or bus, even though the car or bus has come to rest. Okay, so the seat belts are provided in car so that if a fast running car stops suddenly due to some emergency or an accident, then passengers are not thrown forward violently and injury can be prevented. And when a car or bus turns a corner sharply, we tend to fall sideways. This is also because of the direction we are changing suddenly, because we want to remain in a straight line motion, but our inertia or tendency to continue moving in a straight line prevents our body to fall to move in sideways. So we tend to fall in sideways. It is dangerous to jump out of a moving bus because the jumping man who is moving with the high speed of a bus would tend to remain in a motion due to inertia even on falling to the ground and get hurt due to the resistance offered by a ground. So when we descend from a train on a platform, this is day-to-day life example. So a body, if not run in the direction of motion of a train, they will not handle themselves. So suppose when a tea vendor is descending from a running train, they start running along the direction of the train to control themselves. If they do opposite of if they runs in the opposite direction of the train, they will fall immediately. So even though they don't understand the law of physics, they somewhere apply the physics to handle their motion. Okay, now from the above discussion, it is clear that Newton's first law of motion gives us a definition of force. It says that the force is something which changes or tends to change the state of rest or of a uniform motion of a body. In other words, the force is an influence which can produce an acceleration or retardation in a body. Force is a vector quantity having magnitude as well as direction. Okay, now we will discuss momentum in the next lecture. Till then, if you enjoy my video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with future lectures and tutorials. Thank you. Have a nice day. We will meet in another lecture video with different topics.